bit of freedom, you know, like, oh, let's just pop out for a quick doob every 20 minutes or something. And you're sitting there like, oh fuck, I forgot to hit record, Matt. Aye.
Yeah, guitar. Well, it happened, and it's done.
Guitar side of the album was where everything comes together when you start putting guitars onto these songs, and that's when you first get a true idea of what the album's gonna sound like, when you've wired in the tones and the guitars start tracking. You know, that's the exciting bit.
Guitars are like quite a big fingerprint on the final work and how it sounds and how it feels.
Learning this album was learning this album was pretty difficult for me at points, because I'm not really used to playing in drop tunings. I've got my own kind of specific way of playing stuff.
So Oliver's got a very loose pick and hand.
Oliver's style of writing, you got a lot of like loosey-goosey, like groovy sort of stuff.
And Jack's got a very tight pick and hand, and he's a total riffer.
A lot of my stuff is really sort of tight, riffy, machine gunny riffs, and you know, like downpicky stuff. So learning a lot of Oliver's tracks, even just the fact that some of his stuff wasn't just like your straight 4/4s, and like they maybe resolve in a weird place, and even if it wasn't that difficult, it was just really hard for me to get my head around. So it took quite a lot of like paying attention to how I was playing and trying to unlearn things, and you know, just trying not to be so rigid and like, oh, this is how I do things, and which has been good for me.
So to hear the two styles of playing come together, they sit together really nicely, and you know, you can differentiate between who's playing something, but when they're together they sound great.
Because of the way that I was doing it and kind of wanted to record it, it just meant going over parts and trying to make them as tight as possible.
Right. I like that.
I kind of took it for granted, because it's like I will just sit there and play until it's tight, until it's really, really, really tight. But at the same time, it's like you don't really want to do that. You don't want to do that too much, otherwise it's just not fun anymore. And there's only so much you really need to do that.
Each guitar was double tracked, so there was like 4 guitars in total.
It was never really going to be a case of, once that track's done, I'm done that track. It's like, no, you've got to do that again.
You need to do your rhythm section. Then you need to do it again to double track it, and then you have to do solos, then you have to do a wee harmony here, a wee layer here. It's pretty involved.
You had that kind of opportunity to layer things up and really take your time and experiment with things, and so it was cool. But yeah, took a while.
That's the stressful bit. That's when the real nitpicky side of us starts to come out. The guitar parts, from what I can remember, were quite a stressful ordeal. Everyone knew their parts and everyone was playing well, but there's something along the way where the tension in the room is always kind of rising. The tension in the room is always kind of rising.
how you play that riff.
What are you doing to me?
I wasn't that happy with that. Yeah, there was a whole combinations of things why the guitar just was the biggest slog of my life.
That was the first bit of the process where you would get a little bit of bickering over stuff.
Partly because of like I said, how I wanted to record it and have as many options going forward as we could, and trying to make it sound as good as possible. Me, Billy, and hadn't spent a lot of time with Jack on what the parts were, or how he would necessarily play it. And Jack would would have ideas and suggestions he would want to do, and me and Billy had sat with the tracks for so long.
And you know, Jack does this thing where he changes things at the last minute, and he'll sort of go, "Oh, I had it in my head this way, you know, for like 2 years, and now you're telling me I can't do it." And it's like, well, you never told us, bro. You know, and that's, you know, all these things come together.
So when Jack would come with ideas, we would be like, nah, I don't know about that, and we'd try it again, and he'd fight his corner, and sometimes we would try it, and we'd be like, that is good, but only after like we'd hammer at him.
And another thing was all of us making the record for us. Oliver was recording all the guitars. We'd done all the bass, we'd done all the guitars, and we'd done all the vocals with Oliver as the producer.
As the kind of guy kind of recording it and trying to view it as objectively as possible, I'd be like, well, yeah, I want to hear what Jack's done.
But you know, when something you love becomes your work, you know, there's a disconnect there somehow along the way. So we're stressing out Oliver because we want to do all these takes, so we want to change something, and Oliver's kind of not part of the creative process. He's part of the production process at this point.
It was interesting. Oliver's really good at what he does, and he really knows his guitars. But I think the issue with it is that you're not paying for studio time, so it's quite easy to go, we'll do that a bit later, and then time passes, and then I'm working, mate, I can't do it. Just between you can't find the time where you're all ready to go and sit down and do something. So a lot of the guitar tracking was quite spaced out.
Like we all work, we all have jobs, you know, we live in real life, you know, it's got to be done, and the benefit of doing it like we did meant that we could live our lives and work our jobs while we did this, but it just meant that getting together was an absolute nightmare.
It sort of turns into like, oh, can you come over today? And it's like, oh, I'm working till 4, but I can do it after. It's, oh, I'm working like after 2 or whatever. And it's like, oh, what about Sunday? It's like, oh, I've got a thing on Sunday. And it becomes a thing, like, all of a sudden, and it becomes a rarity that 2 people are in the room at the exact same time.
The nature of my work, August, I work every day. I was working every single day, and I wanted to get everything recorded before that happened, and it just didn't work out.
But you know, everyone just kind of started to really want to get it done, and it wasn't happening very quickly, and it was fine, it was great, and everything sounded good, and we were, you know, I say that, but a huge part of it, everyone was happy and cheesing and laughing and having an amazing time. But that was the first bit of the process where you would get a little bit of bickering over stuff, and I think we're all kind of different in the studio, and eventually it all started to come together and the mood started lightening. You know, when you've done 7 out of the 8 songs and you're going, holy shit, it's finished soon, you know, everyone was starting to get happy, and we weren't quite as prepared as we thought we were going to be. When you notice yourself still writing as you're going along, that's, for us at least, that's not a good thing, because we're not quick decision makers. As I say, we're mega nitpicky sort of people.
There was a lot of doing things and kind of trying things and putting them back and forth, which when you're laying down the final tracks, if you dedicated time to lay down final tracks, you should really have got all of that out of the way ages ago. But because of the way we did it, and because we were kind of like it, the whole process kind of snuck up on us. It's like, well, if we're going to do this, we should do this now.
So the guitar process was, I mean, I didn't have to do anything. I was just sitting there going, change that, fucking change that, change that. So it's, you know, it's fine for me.
It wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that bad. It was just a learning curve for everyone involved, and we know what we want to do differently and how to do it better and more effectively the next time round, if there is one.
Thanks for watching. Suffocator will be out on the 20th of April 2019. 420, blaze it, get yourself a copy, listen to them riffs. If you like watching our videos and shit, smash that like button or something. Again? I fucked it. Suffocator will be available on the 20th of April. Grab yourself a copy, listen to them riffs. If you like what we're talking about, you know, subscribe or like or whatever. Thanks for watching.